Let's bring in the person he name-checked there, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. Congresswoman, your response.
The fact that you just got done engaging in a conversation where we have a president of the United States who has no idea about the oath that he just took on January 20th tells me everything that I need to know.
If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, because more real stories are coming your way soon.
He didn't even have good sense enough in that same interview to say something as simple as, yes, I will follow the Constitution. You know, the thing that actually derived from the oath that he was supposed to take. And he supposedly took an oath, which there's a lot of people that point out that he never put his hand on the Bible, even though he acts as if he could somehow be the Pope. But nevertheless, that oath specifically says that you will defend the Constitution. So the idea that you are now taking the Constitution and, as I said at the DNC, putting it through a paper shredder is a problem. And I think that this should not be partisan. This should be right versus wrong. A lot of the things that this administration is doing, they don't have anything to do with partisanship. This is right versus wrong. And right now, they are consistently wrong.
So President Trump referenced the notion you're the future of the Democratic Party. You are pitching fellow Democrats on a run for the top position on the House Oversight Committee.
Yep.
The current top Democrat is stepping down because of illness, according to Politico, says that you're seeking that position. Do you think you are the future of the Democratic Party? And if not, who else is?
I don't know that I'm the future of the Democratic Party, but I do know that in this moment, we need people that are unafraid and willing to go after this administration for the good of the entirety of the country. And I think that that is an opportunity that I would have sitting as the ranker on oversight. We will be able to conduct investigations. And as they are not wanting the American people to know about things such as what's going on with FAA, as you were just talking about Newark, or what's going on as it relates to our food, or what's going on as it relates to these firings and how that is impacting, say, our veterans that are trying to go and seek the treatment that they need. They don't want to be transparent and open with the American people. And I want to do that. I want to make sure that we are shining a light on all the darkness that they are bringing to our country right now.
So President Trump says his administration's latest self-deportation policy.
At first, everything seems perfectly normal. Calm faces, polite conversations, and those practiced political smiles that hide more than they reveal. But beneath that quiet surface, something is building, something no one wants to admit. And when the truth finally hits, it comes crashing down like a storm, shaking every word and every promise that came before it. What's about to unfold, no one could have prepared you for.
Will allow some migrants a potential path back to the U.S. DHS also says it will pay an additional $1,000 to people who verify that they have left the U.S., people in this country illegally, who have left the U.S. and have returned to their home country. I want you to listen to what White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller said about this a few days ago.
A single illegal alien family over the course of his lifetime may cost the U.S. taxpayers over $1 million. So when you give an illegal immigrant a check for, say, $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it may be, $3,000 to leave the country, you're saving taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. It also saves money relative to us having to go out and find that illegal alien and physically arrest them and deport them.
You represent a border state. Obviously, there are a lot of undocumented migrants in Texas. What do you make of this? Would you advise any undocumented individual who comes to you that maybe they should take the money and go back to their home country? What's your take on it all?
I wouldn't trust this administration for anything. First of all, they are terrible about paying their bills, number one. Number two, most of those people that have come over, regardless of what this administration said, they came over because they were fleeing things such as the fact that they don't have the opportunity to work and earn a living, or they're fleeing political violence. And so what is $1,000 if you're going back to a place where you may lose your life? They risk their lives, many of them coming over here in the first place. That's number one. Number two, I want to see some numbers. Where in the heck did you just pull this number out of your back pocket saying that they're costing us approximately $100 million? I'm sorry, not $100 million, $1 million for each undocumented person. The only numbers that we have show that we receive approximately $100 billion in tax revenue from undocumented people, so much so that they decided that they want to go to the IRS and get the IRS to help them as they go and seek these people. You know why? Because they've been working and they've been doing the jobs, and now they want to roll back child labor protections and make sure that poor children are the ones that are doing those jobs, because now we're going to have those vacancies, if we're going to have jobs left at all, as we continue to endure the grind of this failed experiment around this tariff war.
I want to ask you, the U.S. Department of Education says it's going to restart collecting federal student loans in default. Starting today, this impacts about 5 million Americans. You've been outspoken against this. And I know, look, COVID, inflation, and now tariffs and uncertainty on the stock market, it's a tough time for a lot of people out there. But what do you say to critics who say, look, I paid off my student loans, why can't these people pay off theirs?
Listen, everyone kind of encounters a different set of circumstances. I remember when I came out of undergrad and it was a decision about whether or not to go to law school or to go to grad school at all. And one of the reasons that actually propelled me into saying, yes, I will absolutely go, is because the economy was so bad that I wouldn't be able to get a job and actually start paying those loans back. So I decided to, go get more education and hopefully come out in 3 years to a better market and have enough education to be able to actually pay these bills. Listen, we all have different sets of circumstances, whether it's life that's happening, whether you're taking care of your parents, or whether you're taking care of children. But the reality is that we consistently offer breaks to those that are paying out multi-billion-dollar bonuses, whether it's in the banking industry, whether it's in the auto industry. We continue to offer those kind of bailouts. But when it comes to the everyday working person, the person that is going to feel these failed tariff policies the most, as they are doing a historic amount of firings in our federal government, which means that it's not just going to impact those that are being fired. It's going to impact those restaurants in those areas where those workers would normally go. It's going to impact those grocery stores where they normally shop and the places that they go and buy clothes. So listen, everyone is about to be hurt. Every expert that you talk to, they will tell you that if we are not currently in a recession, we are headed towards one. And this is when you decide that you want to go after people. Frankly, this administration continuously tells us that they love to kick people when they're already down. And I personally believe that if we can do it for the big guys, then we can do it for the little guy.
So let's talk about the person he mentioned, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas. Congresswoman, what do you think? Well, the fact that you just talked about the President of the United States not even understanding the promise he made on January 20th says a lot. In that same interview, he didn't even have the good sense to say something simple like, yes, I will follow the Constitution. You know, that's actually what the oath is about, the Constitution. And he's supposed to have taken that oath, though lots of people say he didn't even put his hand on the Bible, even though he acts like he's some kind of holy man or even the Pope. But anyway, that oath clearly says you have to protect the Constitution. So now, when you're just treating the Constitution like trash, like I said at the DNC, it's like putting it through a paper shredder. That's a big deal. And honestly, this isn't about being a Democrat or a Republican. This is about right and wrong. A lot of what this group in charge is doing isn't about political sides. It's just wrong. And they keep being wrong again and again. Now, let's talk about the future of the Democratic Party. Trump said you might be the future. You're also trying to get support from other Democrats so you can become the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. The current top Democrat is leaving because of illness. Politico says you're trying to get that spot. So, do you think you're the future of the party? And if not you, then who? I don't know if I'm the future of the Democratic Party, but I do know this. Right now, we need people who are not scared and are ready to stand up to this group running the country. Not just for one party, but for everyone in America. If I get that oversight position, I'll have a chance to do that. I'll be able to start investigations. This group doesn't want regular people to know what's really going on, like problems with air travel, like what you mentioned with Newark, or issues with our food or people getting fired and how that affects our veterans who need medical help. They don't want to be honest with the public, but I do. I want to shine a light on the things they're trying to keep in the dark and let people know the truth about what's going on. Now let's talk about this whole self-deportation idea. President Trump says his new plan could give some migrants a way to come back to the U.S. later. The Department of Homeland Security also says it will give an extra $1,000 to people who prove they've left the U.S., people who were here without permission, and who go back to their home country. I want you to hear what White House Deputy Chief of Staff Steve Miller said about this a few days ago. He said that one undocumented family might cost American taxpayers over $1 million during their lifetime. So if you give that person a check for maybe $1,000 or $2,000 or even $3,000 to leave, you're actually saving taxpayers a lot of money. It also saves money because we won't have to go out and find these people and force them to leave. You represent Texas, a border state. There are lots of undocumented migrants there. What do you think of this? Would you tell someone who's undocumented to take the money and leave? What's your opinion? I wouldn't trust this group with anything. First of all, they're really bad at paying what they owe. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people who came here didn't just come for fun. They came because they were escaping problems, like not being able to find work or trying to get away from dangerous political situations. So what's $1,000 going to do if they're going back to a place where their life is in danger? Many of them risked their lives just to get here in the first place. That's one thing. Another thing, where are they getting this number from? Saying each undocumented person costs $1 million? That sounds like they just made it up. The only real numbers we have say that undocumented people actually pay about $100 billion in taxes. That's right, so much so that they want the IRS to help track these people down. You know why? Because they're working and doing the jobs that now this group wants to give to kids by taking away child labor protections. Yep, they want poor kids to do those same jobs if we kick out the adults doing them now. But who's going to do these jobs if the adults are gone? And if we even have any jobs left with this ongoing economic mess they're causing with their tariff war? Now, let's talk about student loans. The U.S. Department of Education says it's going to start collecting money again from people who are behind on their federal student loans, starting today. About 5 million Americans will be affected. You've spoken out against this, and I know, between COVID, rising prices, tariffs, and stock market problems, it's a really hard time for a lot of people. But what would you say to people who say, "Hey, I paid off my student loans. Why can't these people pay theirs?" Well, everyone goes through different situations. I remember when I finished college, I had to decide whether to go to law school or grad school at all. One big reason I decided to go was because the economy was so bad. I knew I wouldn't be able to get a good job and start paying off my loans right away. So I thought, why not keep studying for 3 more years and hope the job market would be better by then, and I'd have more education to help me pay my bills? Look, people have all kinds of things going on. Maybe they're taking care of their parents or their kids or dealing with life problems. But here's the thing. We're always giving special treatment to huge companies paying their CEOs billions in bonuses. Whether it's banks, car companies, whatever, we give them bailouts. But when it comes to regular working people, the ones who are really struggling, we don't give them the same help. And those people are going to get hit the hardest by this economy, especially with all the people being fired from government jobs. And it's not just the people losing jobs who get hurt. It's also the restaurants where they eat, the grocery stores where they shop, and the places where they buy clothes. Everyone is going to feel this pain. Every expert will tell you, we're either already in a recession or heading straight for one. And now is when this group decides to go after everyday people. Honestly, they always seem to kick people when they're already down. And I believe this. If we can help the big companies, then we should be able to help regular folks too.